Welcome to the Blackskins podcast. Hello, family. How you doing? Today is Royalty Tuesday, and today I want to talk about something that is necessary when we are talking about royalty. This Tuesday, I want to talk about kingdom building. Yes, kingdom building. The aspects of kingdom building necessary for you to be a good and productive monarch, a king or queen that gets favor from the Creator who gave you the reign, and also favor from man that has to understand your rule. No one maintains and sustains rulership as a fool unless they do it with force. And of course, if you do it with force, then people don't really hear you, they fear you. And that's not the type of royalty that's going to gain you loyalty. That's the type of royalty that's going to make you say, "Et tu, Brute," while he grabs his dagger and unsheathes it and put it in your back. That's what you got to look forward to. An attack when you're a king that ain't holding his crown correctly. Every king had a crown, had a dagger, had a swagger, and way in which he did what he did to build his legacy. And after building his legacy, his country or his kingdom produced and made products, whether it was produce or whether it was livestock, whether it was wine. We don't know what way they would be able to intertwine their kingdom with the surrounding kingdoms, but they would have to be of service to those within the kingdom so that they could have a kingdom. What are you providing? Whether it's protection, whether it's rightful selection, whether it's regulation, whether it's contemplation on what the next steps for the future generations would be, how we could see your support, what gave us the truth, what gave us the proof, what gave us the sovereignty to have the ability to be a kingdom. And then we get to the kingdom building. Not shielding yourself away from accountability. The royal family has to be accountable to the people in which they serve, to the people that fall up under their rule and authority. What do they do so they can make sure that the majority of the people are living well within their kingdom? Not just taking accountability for what you do, whether it's right or wrong. Because you can take accountability for wrong actions, and that ain't going to bring forth satisfaction for the interactions. It's definitely not going to bring forth the gratification for your elevation. What you're really hoping for when building a kingdom is that you take a firm look at what it took for you to get uplifted, for you to acquire your favor and authority. And the only way to sustain it with any loyalty is to make sure whatever got you there, you do those same things to keep you there. Not just being accountable, but being responsible. Not just caring about your intentions, but making sure that your impact and your intentions match. That's how you become a worthy king. A king that brings to mind the light when people are ready to talk about you, when people are ready to serve. Or you might have a situation where people want to get into a coup because you is not what the creator wanted. And when people aren't in line and harmony with the mind of the monarch, key, the family is in turmoil because there's always somebody coming for the crown. And how are you getting down for your crown? What are you doing so you surround your kingdom with people who want to be part of the kingdom, who are not just serving the kingdom, but the kingdom is serving them? That is the way that you will be able to build the kingdom. First, you have to have the mindset that people aren't just there to serve the kingdom, but the kingdom is there to serve the people. And long as the people within your kingdom are served and given a good service, a quality service, a service that means that you actually care, a service that means you will actually share the abundance that the kingdom is able to acquire, and having the wisdom and the desire to see everybody in the kingdom do better. Whatever someone hopes to do, you already knew that you was chosen to make an alliance with all, because you don't want anybody in the kingdom to fall by the wayside. Nobody left behind, and especially not a child. That is the way that kingship is built, where you are able to be a contributing factor to your community, where you can bring forth a unity of effort, not always togetherness with everybody doing the exact same thing, but at least everybody have the same hopes. Everybody have the same preview of knowing you will be true to what it is. Not that you just said you would do, but what you supposed to do. You ain't have to say it, long as it was the right thing to do. That's what they could count on you for. The kingdom shall be built. The throne shall be established with righteousness. Righteousness is your legacy. People will be able to see through your actions that you are not just going out for your own self-satisfaction, but you are going out trying to work out what would be best, what would help everybody that is involved be blessed. That's how you build a kingdom, where it's not based off of selfish, individual motivations, but it's built upon knowing who are the stakeholders and making sure that we standing shoulder to shoulder. Nobody standing on top of anybody. Nobody standing behind anybody. We standing shoulder to shoulder. We are together in unison. And there has to be divine order. And the divine order is the status. But once we shoulder to shoulder, it don't matter who we define as the baddest. The Creator gave us all a chance to make a step and take a step. Now, who is appointed king? Only the Creator can bring any meaning to it. I don't know why one man is the king and one man is the rook. I don't know why one man is the good guy and the other is a crook. I could never tell you. And that's not something that I should even have to tell you. Because in the same household, one mother will have one son who becomes king and another son who is just in between, trying to figure out who he's supposed to be. I was not chose to be the appointer of your kingship. That's not my place. The Creator knew what it was going to take for you to be able to handle authority. He knew whether or not you would be able and ready to have authority. That is nothing anybody else can actually do for you. Those that think of themselves as king makers are today fakers, because only the Creator makes a king and sustains him. Man can make you a king tomorrow, but that don't mean 2 days from now you still gonna be on the throne, because you might not have the protection to be able to even stand alone. You might have to have 100 men with a deeper security detail than the Secret Service can offer you, and still not have the health and wealth of security to be able to be here and share within the land of the living. So we have to be driven beyond motivation. It has to take dedication, and it takes something that most of us don't want to even factor in: ordainment. The Creator has to ordain you to be the leader of a kingdom, to even have a mindset to want to build a kingdom, to want to build a kingdom that is and will give reverence to Yahuwah. Whatever you do that is true, whatever you do for the Most High, whatever you do and don't lie and don't defy your own self, is what's going to bring you closer to being at the top shelf of kingsmanship. Or you could potentially be a queen, depending on how your mind seen the vision and how you wanted to have the vision, but still be able to multiply. I want to be able to divide with my family. I want to be able to take the pie, make sure that everybody get a piece. If you don't like this type of pie, okay, we baking cakes. We making shakes, and we making smoothies, and we making everything necessary for your wealth and health to escalate. I don't want to hesitate ever being in obedience with what the Creator told me to do, what He told you to do. If you doing it, if it's manifesting, if you are able to go out and be a blessing and teach a lesson and stop your stressing, then you're getting closer to the building up of the kingdom. And kingdom building ain't always going to come with a smile and a dance. Sometimes kingdom building is going to come with a chance for you to advance. You got to make the right decision. You got to be able to take the risk, because if you're scared, you ain't going to dare to enhance your legacy. If you're scared, you ain't going to take the responsibility to make products that ain't nobody made. If you scared, you ain't going to take on the servitude to be of support to those within your sovereignty. I'm trying to help you define ways to earn royalty. And the first way is to have a positive way about the way in which you think. Not speaking negatively on your lineage. You're not going to be a proper king talking bad about the king that preceded you, the king that had the support and feed you, the king that might not have been that great of a king, but he is still your earthly father. So, how much of a blessing can you get from stressing and chopping down the name of your previous generation? How does that build upon your legacy? How is that building up the kingdom instead of tearing it down? We have to learn to be able to live in the now. And things that people done in the past that was wrong, we have to learn from it. We is not going to be able to get where we are supposed to go making excuses about problems others had before. We need to be able to fix whatever problems did exist so now we can have solutions for today. Because those were problems they just couldn't solve. If they could have solved the problems, I bet they would have. Your family, whether it was your great-great-grandfather, your great-grandfather, your grandfather, your father, or you, 5 generations that come to the conclusion that we might be living in an illusion. But is you going to continue walking in that path? Or is you going to have the ability to see the error in the previous ways and say, I'm going to change for the betterment of our days? Because the next generation ain't going to be fooled in this capacity. The next generation ain't going to be schooled with the same tenacity by institutions that just want to take advantage of the people. We're going to elevate. We're going past previous ignorance and peasant thoughts and go into wisdom, sage ways, and kingdom desirable getting. Not forgetting that we have to be getting down for your crown. And what does getting down for your crown mean? It means that you ain't just sitting there on the throne, eating grapes, being fanned. When things is time for the demand to display, you are right there on the battlefield saying, hey, I'm here. If it's time for the harvest, you are out there making sure that everything is being done correctly. Everything is being distributed as planned. So when it come back in, it all is adding up, which is accountability. Taking on the responsibility, not just for yourself, but taking on the responsibility for the people. Knowing that hoping things is equal is not really the socialist way that you want to go about things. You want people to be paid fairly for what they are doing. And you don't want people to be rarely getting what is right. You want what's right to be part of whatever institution you building, whatever culture that you building within your organization, within your community, within your desired conglomerate. I'm not going to forget that we all eventually have a legacy. You could potentially be a legend, or you could be known as a fool. I don't have to be taught in school that I don't want certain things to be associated with my name. Because I don't want people to ever take who I am or what I'm about or what my kingdom is about for a game. And I can bring forth that own pain on myself by not taking things seriously, by allowing a moment to be a moment that I can't take back. Because it only takes 1 second to get mad and react. And just that fast, you can smack. But guess what? There will be consequences. There will be turmoil. There will be negative results. There will be consequences, not just for you, not just for me, but all those associated with me. If I'm not blessed, everybody around me gonna see less. If I'm not at my best, everybody around me is gonna get less than they're supposed to have. And I have a desire. I have more than a wish. I have a real passion for seeing everybody in my circumference doing well. The only king that I can tell you about is fictitious. And that angers me a little bit. That the best king that I can point out to you is Joffrey Joe Fur, a made-up character in Eddie Murphy's Coming to America. James Earl Jones. I would love to see some real Joffrey Joe Furs be in unison all around the world, not in just fictitious places like Zamunda. I want us to get closer to knowing that this is what is going to be present when we are drafted back in. Like, being cut off from the tree, being cut off from Almighty, His abundant love. He giving you agape love, but He had a whole nother love for you. He had the evidence is there. Things that you did thousands of years ago still appear before our eyes. So wise was we then. And now they say it couldn't have been you Blackskins that did that. That was aliens coming to visit the planet. They defile and dethrone your royalty because you walked away from it. Your disbelief is what made it unbelievable. That didn't mean it was unachievable. We just got to let go of our unbelief and get back to the real belief, the real structure of having a singular purpose and having a singular cause and not taking pause. But we got to just remember that we got to keep bringing in resources so we can keep having new courses to be able to control the goods and services that we need. Nobody else in this world should have to feed us. We should be able to feed ourselves. That is royalty. No one should have to tell you what is true about your previous legacies. You should already be telling the story of the previous generations, knowing from whence you came. If you don't know from whence you came, if you ain't got no value in your family name, then there's no possibility for royal lineage to exist. No royal bloodline, no royal mindset. So I bet that if you're thinking negative, you living close to peasantry. If we're going to be truly royal and truly capable of showing our best selves and accomplishing the wealth that the Creator wanted us to have, then we have to travel the path of making goods and services. And for many thousands of years, some of those goods and services have been wineries. Some of those have been distilleries. Some of them have been breweries. Some of them have been places that planted and created produce. Whether it was fruit or vegetables, we don't know. But we had to see and continuously allow something to grow. Service. There are some kingdoms that service was warfare. We come with the swords and we will do whatever we got to poke them, and that was their service. They rendered a service of fighting, delighting in bloodshed, crusading and invading, penetrating mindsets. That was how they built their kingdom. It might not have been on righteousness. They might have did it in the name of righteousness, but they definitely didn't do it in a righteous manner. So, after this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, who art in heaven, holy is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debtors as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Hallelujah. The kingdom was mentioned in the prayer a couple times. Thine is the kingdom. Your kingdom is the kingdom, as it is in heaven. It was already structured there. And he told you, I'm going to make you in my image. And the image in heaven is one of a kingdom with a ruler, with the people being taken care of, and with the regulating bodies. There's a government in place. There's laws in place. There are rules. There are tools that are used for incentive. And just so you know the true thing, that incentive can be positive or negative. It just means that if things don't go the way we said they should go, reinforcements will be at your door for sure. That's how they did it. Don't you forget it. You ain't listening. This is what they're going to be mentioning about you. Or you see that look just like a cross. They hang you on it. And maintain I don't have to want it because you've already seen it. You just might not know that it can happen. But every interaction that we have is building towards our royalty. Are we building the kingdom or are we tearing it down? Are we being responsible or are we running away? Are we being reasonable with something to say? Are we questioning for figuring out a way to get away from the responsibility? Or are we questioning so we can have a better understanding of how to handle the responsibilities? I want to handle the responsibility the Creator gave me. Hallelujah.